This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, I just shared my screen. So today we will continue with the validations and derivations chapter. And in the last session, we talked about the rule body, and categorically we talked about under the rule body single entity validation and the cross entity derivation. Along with that, we also talked about MDG APIs, application programming interface. So we had a different interface. We talked about the different interface with some examples. So today we will move on to the service body. So this chapter having two different parts. One part is the rule body, which we covered. The another part is the service body. Under the service body, we have email notification, rule context preparation, parallel processing, and dynamic agent selection. Okay, so this is the four items which we have. Today we will talk about mainly the rule context preparation and dynamic agent selection. Okay, now first start with the rule context preparation. What is rule context preparation? So so far whatever the examples we have seen, in those examples, let's say we had a requester, verifier, and approver, right? And the workflow was moving from requester to verifier and verifier to the approver. But just think a scenario if we have a specific requirement where it says that based on a material type, one specific material type, the workflow should move to the next level. So far, whatever the examples we have done, we haven't come across any such kind of situation where based on a specific condition, the workflow should move. So like for an example, based on a material type or based on a unit of measure or based on some other specific attribute, the workflow should move to the next level. Otherwise, it will not move to the next level. If that kind of situations we have, then how we will deal with? Then we will go with the rule context preparation. So by name itself, it's quite clear that we are creating certain business rules during the business process, okay, or during the business flow. That is nothing but the rule context preparation. Now, first we will talk about how it configure. Okay, so it has basically the service body. Whatever the examples we will carry on down the line, you can see that every example there will be two different sections. One section is the BRF plus, and the another section is a above body. Okay, so it's a combination of both activity which accomplish those service body. So let's start with the rule context preparation. So the very first thing what I need to do, I will go to MDG IMG transaction. Okay, and then we'll go to data model, make sure that my data model is active. Otherwise, whatever I will do, that will not able to uh, activate or reflect properly as expected. So it has to be activate first. So once that is done, straight away we will move to the process model and we'll go to the change request. The reason for going to the change request is we need a change request type for that particular activity. So What I did, I just create today this change request type ymat01. It's a exactly the copy of mat01, which is you can see, which is for daily create material. I just simply copied the mat01, which is having the main entity type material, the workflow template, followed by the entity types, followed by the business activities. Okay. Now, already it's saved. So it's saved under the customizing request. So this is the customizing TRs. Okay. Now, once this is done, then we will move to the workflow section. And there, the first thing which we will do, that is, we need to define the steps for YMAP01. So these are all different steps. Okay. Like 0 is nothing but the processing, which is nothing but the requester level. And then 90 is nothing but verifier. 91 I have taken approver. 92 activation. 93 revision. 94 rollback. 95 email notification. However, we are not going to use email notification in this case, but still I have taken this. And 99 is complete. So these are all different steps which we have. Okay, it is more or less the same step what we discussed in the previous chapter, particularly the workflow chapter. Okay, now moving to the next one, that is configure rule-based workflow. So configure rule-based workflow YMAT01. Okay, now so we know that we have a decision table. In the previous chapter, we have already discussed this. We have three settings of decision table, that is single value, user agent, and non-user agent. So I need not to repeat that. So now in the single value decision table, we have exactly the same scenario what we have done in the previous chapter. Like, so once it is submit, it goes to verifier. So it is to be approved by verifier. So this is the first step. Then next is once verifier approved, then it goes to approver. This is the second step. So this is to be approved by approver, the CR status. Next one is approver. Approver also approved. So first we have taken all the approval scenarios, and then this is the third step, and we have the so approver is approved. That means nothing but the activation, and you can see the status, which is to be evaluated. And then next is rejection. So verifier reject, it goes for the revision and to be revised. Next, approver reject, it is a revision to be revised. And then revision having resubmit and withdrawal scenario. So if it is resubmit, again goes to the verifier stage. If it is withdraw, then goes to the rollback stage. Then activation. So activation successful, activation unsuccessful. If activation successful, then complete. If activation unsuccessful, then goes to the verifier level. And finally, the rollback. Once it is rollback, it is complete. So it is exactly the same scenario what we did in the last case. Intentionally, I have taken the same scenario, just it will be easy for you all to relate. Okay, so this is the single value decision table. Now we go for the non-user agent decision table. Again, it is same. So condition alias. So one is for activation, the another one is for rollback, and the third one is for completion. Okay, so this is for the non-user agent decision table. And finally, before going to the user agent decision table, what we will do the BRF plus application activities. What is that? So first we will go to the BRF plus application. So far we were dealing with the decision tables. Now the first time we are going to the BRF plus application. So in the BRF plus application, first we click here, CR type related application. Go to the contained object, select data object, and I created the data object called material type. Okay. If you want, you can create similarly one object for any other attribute. So just if you are interested, I can show you. So let's say how we can define, just let me show you which attribute we can take. Let's see. Let's take some basic attribute like material group, MATKL. Let's do that. Edit, create object. This is element. This is not a structure. This is not a table. So MATKL material group. Okay. Create and navigate to objects. Not create. You have to choose create and navigate to the object. Save and activate. Go to the next one, trigger function. Here click on edit, add existing data object. So here we have material group. Also we have material type which is already added. So I'm just selecting the material group. Material group, and you can see it is now added here. Save, activate, continue. Now rule sets. Rule sets having same information what we have in the decision table. So this is the single value decision table, this is the user agent decision table, and this is the non-user agent decision table. So no need to do anything in the rule sets. Directly we will come to the user agent decision table, and there click on edit, table settings, insert column, from context data objects, and here go end material group. Material group, continue. So what happened? The moment I click here in the settings, the material group field is available as a column of this user agent decision table, as a column. Similarly, you can see as a column, we also receive material type. Now the question is why we are bringing them here. The reason we are bringing them here to make a certain business rule, to make a certain condition in the workflow. That's the reason we are bringing them here. Okay. So next is that what exactly I need to maintain here. I need to maintain what exactly the requirement is all about. So if my requirement says that the material type has to be AEM, means sample material, and the material group. So let me open one, create material, yes, create material. Okay. So material type, AEM is nothing but the sample material. Okay. And material group, let's say 001 for an example. So if, so the condition is, let's say, if if the material type is AEM and material group is 001, 001, yes, then only, then only, so then workflow will move to next level. So if the requirement is this, then what we need to do, we will straight away assign this value here. Now I have taken here the simple combinations. Now there can be multiple combinations like material type AEM, then some more some two three more material type is allowed. Similarly, two three material group is allowed. So in that case, you need to do the combinations and permutations and combinations, right? So you have to make those combinations accordingly. So now the question is, how many combinations are allowed in the workflow? It's n number. I remember in one of the project I maintained 210 combinations. Yes, I repeat, I maintain 210 combinations. So you can understand. So it can be multiple combinations which is allowed. So I'm just showing you here a very simple combination. Okay. So this is the combination. So what happens in the user agent decision table? So the first two is for, these two are for approve and the next two are for reject. So whether it is an approval scenario or it is a rejection scenario, both of the cases we need to define this material type and material group, and then rest of the information followed by this. Okay, so this is the BRF plus scenario which we need to do. Okay, then save and activate. Save, activate. Then overall catalog you have to select, you have to save and activate. So this is the BRF plus side. Now we have to go to the above body side. As I mentioned, that we have always the two sides. One is BRF plus and another one is the above body. So now we have to go to the above body section. So what we need to do? We need to go to AC 18. And the enhancements part we need to call USMD SSW service processor. Okay, this is the enhancements part. I will probably write it here. Enhancements part, which is necessary here, that is USMD underscore SSW underscore service processor. Okay, so this is the one. Continue. Now you can see under the service processor, we have four different bodies. First one is the dynamic agent selection. Second one is the parallel workflow. Third one is the rule context preparation. Fourth one is the email notification, which is also called as a system method caller. That is nothing but the email notification. Okay. So my target is rule context preparation. So how I will create the enhancement? Already I have created it, but let me show you again how we can do that. So we need to double click on this implementation. So this is our implementation which we created. But before we go to this, let me show you how you can create the enhancement from here. So right click on the implementation, create body implementation. Click here. So already I have, so this is the, I'm just giving some name. Okay. Composite enhancement implementation, you need not to give anything, just keep it blank. You must give some package name, but here I'm just saving it in local object as I don't have any package specific to this. Then continue. Now the body implementation. Similarly, I have to create the body. Now the implementing class. So what are those things we have created? We have created enhancements, enhancement. Behind enhancement, we created body. Behind body, it is asking now class. So how I will get the class name? Now SAP has provided some document, which is a standard document for such kind of activity. So you can see this is the document for rule context preparation. So if I go to this document really helps me in order to get the class name. So this is the implementing class. And though this class starts with Z, but still we will consider this class as a standard class because this class provided by SAP. So that's what we will consider this class as a standard class. So the class name is ZL MDG BS MAT BRF Context LABO. This is for basically lab office activity, but we can utilize this class. Okay, so let's do that. Or we can do one thing. We can, okay, let's use this. Or another way is copy this. Enhancement cannot be copied. Fine. Okay, we copied this class, then we can use the copied one. Okay, copy the sample class. Now it's done. Now you can see this is the enhancement name. Under the enhancement, this is the body. Under the body, this is the class. This is the interface. This is the class. And under the class, these are all methods. So under the class, we have methods. Okay. So this is the sequence. And what kind of methods we have? We have methods like read change request to read the CR, read material to read the material master data, get element ID to get the element ID and the as usual method, and then filter value, etc. So this is how we can create the enhancement. Okay. Now let's back to the enhancement which we created. So this is the enhancement which we created. So this is the enhancement implementation name, the body name, followed by the implementing class, followed by the methods. Okay. So the first thing which we need to understand, the read change request. This is the standard method, by the way. Now just going through like what kind of logic has been written here. So you can see the similar kind of logic we have done in the previous example, while particularly we have seen the derivation technique. So the first thing you can see the call method, it is calling the method get instance of the class CL USMD model ext. The reason for calling this method is to understand what kind of data model we are dealing with. That is one. Secondly, once we get the data model the detail, then we have to define the index for the change request number, where we have the sign, option, field name, and the change request number. And then we insert this detail into the internal table. Then we call this internal table through the read char value. So read char value is a method which helps in order to read the change request number, or rather the change request details. Okay. So this is for the change request. Similarly, we have to go for the read material. Same way you can see the get instance which called first, and from there we get the data model details. Then we get the change request number, the same scenario. Save those details into the internal table, then call the read char value, which will get the change request detail. Okay. Then we prepare the result table for the material read. That's what we call create data reference. Okay. And then finally, you can see the index for the material master, where we have the field name, sign, option, and low, which is nothing but the material number. And then again store it into the internal table and pass the same into the read char value, this method. So from there we get the material details as well. Okay. So in this read material, we read the change request, create the result table for material read, and then also read the material. Then next, get element ID. So here we basically get the query details about what we have in the change request. So this is the, you can see this is the index which we create in the selection, and from there we get the selection data which we have in the selections. And finally, the method which we need to deal with already this method having some standard code, which is the call method read material. First, it's called the read material to understand the material number based on the change request number. Then read change request. Also read the change request. So once we read the material and we read the change request, we get the details about the material and the change request. And then moving forward, we have this get element ID. What is the purpose of this get element ID? To pass exactly the attribute I need to pass. So here I just copied from the standard code. So this is the standard code. So you can see in the standard code it is having related to the lab office. But in my scenario there is nothing called lab office. So I will not bother about this, and I will create one enhancement section. Either I can create an enhancement section or I can create post exits, whatever is possible. Then what I need to do, the same piece of code I need to copy and I need to put it here for material type. So material type earlier I have created. Now I need to also do the same for material group as well. So as many as field you have, you just need to continue with this logic. So MATKL. So what is happening? Get element. So this is the importing parameter where we have the material group along with the change request type. And in order to do that, it is exporting this ID. The details move to the BRF plus. So when it is moved to the BRF plus with the material group MATKL, so the value is moving there. Okay, in the ET rule context value. That means in the rule based workflow. Okay, so this is for mainly material type, and this is for material group. Okay, save and activate. Done. I hope this is clear how we deal with. So like this, whatever the attribute you have, you can maintain that. And finally, you come out from this, go to the enhancement level, save and activate. Also, all you can do, you can go to AC19, give the enhancement name and activate from here. Okay, now you can see it is saying that, look, I can identify there is one more enhancement which is just now I created that is having the same method. So you have to do something. So that incident is no more required for me. So simply I can remove that incident. Sorry, remove that enhancement. Start this one. Delete it. Now there will not be any issue, I guess. Okay. uh, syntax error. Okay. So that means so far we have done the BRF plus and above body. This is both activity. But one thing we have to do also, apart from maintain the logic, that is the filter value. So in the filter value level, now the point is we have maintained BRF plus and we have maintained above body. But how they talk to each other, how they connect with each other. So the connection is required through the filter value. Okay. So in the filter value, we provide the service name. You can give any name, okay, which starts probably with Z and Y. And the same name, what you need to do, you need to go to BRF plus, go to CR type related service name and assign there. What is happening? Why we are assigning this? So when the execution is happening, this CR type related service name will execute first before decision table. So what is going to happen that when it will execute first, it will carry the information of material type and material group to the decision table, categorically the user agent decision table level, and then while processing the decision table, categorically the user agent decision table, this will be considered in the logic. So if this logic meet, then it will continue next. If it is not meet, then it will not continue next. Okay. So that's the thing. So here you have to maintain this. And also apart from this, you also need to maintain the same filter value under go to MDG IMG, general settings, process model, workflow, rule-based workflow, and define service name for rule-based workflow. So this one as well here. Why we are adding here? Because this is the MDG homepage. The moment we add here, we are basically linked the same with the MDG basic framework. And as well as we add them in the BRF plus as well. Okay. And then you can execute. So you can execute two scenarios probably. One is with this combination. So with this combination where the material type is AEM and the material group is 001, and the another combination you can try probably something different material type and different material group, and you can see uh, the one which is having this combination, it will work, it will go to the next level like verifier, approver, etc. But the one which does not have this combination, it will not go to the verifier or approval level. Okay. Now, let me tell you something interesting here. While I was going to the execution, I found something interesting. Now, I just wanted to show you. Intentionally, I did not correct the error because I wanted to show you that error. See, I'm clicking on create material, YMAT01 and continue. Now, see, someone has tried to add some attribute under the material entity type, but that person did not add that particular attribute in the UI level. Fair enough. He just added in data model, and he will probably add in UI later. Very good. Then I tried to proceed this. So let me show you what I tried. Industry sector 001, 00, sorry, industry sector 1, material group 001. Okay. And with this detail, I'm just submitting. Now here you see the error. When I try to identify this error, why this error is appearing, is this something which uh, we did any mistake in our configuration? So I went to ST22 for identifying the issue. So here you can see the error analysis. So basically the interface, the body material check. So the moral of the story is here. While the validation is happening for the material check, it is getting failed. And I said, what happened? Is this something what we did anything? Whatever we did because of this? Then I tried to investigate further. Now let me show you something interesting. Someone added the entity type, sorry, someone added the attribute under the entity type material, and the attribute is Z-test. Very good. The same field he has been added the data dictionary Mara table, that is also very good. The same field he has been added uh, the the structures, the basic structures, that is very good. But he did not add this in P130F. Mara. See, there is no table entry found. And moreover, the most important point is that person, when I see the generate data model specific structures, material, and particularly this structure, see here, there is no entry for this field. And what is this structure is all about? This structure is helping in order to build the chain between the staging and active. So you have added the attribute in the data model, you have added the attribute in the table, in the basic structure, but you haven't added the attribute in the generate structures, which is one of the most important structures. And you haven't added in T130F. Okay. So because of that reason, what happened? When I'm trying to submit something, obviously the whole data model gets called. It's not something which I created, that part will only call. It is the whole data model which will call. And while calling that, it says that the material check validation is failed. because that attribute is not recognized in the channel, in the source and the destination. And I'm quite sure he didn't maintain SMT mapping as well. So such kind of things you have to avoid in the real-time project. Otherwise, there will be a big mess. Okay. So you have to understand, like I'm sure none of you did this. I'm sure somebody else have done this, but this is one very good example that where the people are making mistake, and such kind of mistake, trust me, as a new hand, you will not able to understand what is the problem initially. You will try to play around with your objects, but it has nothing to do with your object. Okay, so that's the thing which I wanted to explain. So please keep in mind this one. So anyway, whatever I just explained, the next thing what I will do, I either I will maintain the necessary adjustment, the configurations, what needs to be done, which was missing, or I will just ask coordinator to refresh the system. But before that, you have to take the necessary backup, whatever I just explained, if you want. Okay. Otherwise, the coding and everything, it's just a standard code which I carry. Okay. So this is the rule context preparation. So any question on rule context preparation, whatever we discuss?
Aditya, one question over here. So
Yes.
in the user decision table, Aditya, you have given a condition based on material type and material group. So what will happen for the workflow if the criteria is not met? Like what is the behavior? Because
It will, the behavior will be, the workflow is going to end at nowhere. So like it will be like uh, kind of nowhere, like just the status will be changes are executing, and when you go to the workflow, the work item, you can see the workflow is just ended in middle. So it will not, the work item will not assign to anybody else. Okay? So if this criteria does not match.
basically we
Now,
need to give a
one more
path for
question is, if,
the alternate.
what do you mean by path for alternate?
Like anywhere that material type and the material group does not match, you need to give an alternate path
Hmm.
if it needs to go through, right?
Not exactly, just it will be like a uh, ended with the workflow will end from that point. So it will not assign to anybody because it does not have any move ahead because that condition is not present here. So it will stop there, and the status will be changes are executing, something like that, and there will be no work item when you go to the work item workflow log. This will be, and now the question is, okay, I have such kind of scenario where it is ended with nowhere, then whether I can recall it back? No, you cannot recall it back. You have to start with a fresh workflow. I mean, the first request. You have to start with a fresh request. So that is uh, end. Means if you want to revoke this, you need to revoke your workflow design, which you don't want to do that because workflow design you don't want to change again and again, right? So you have to go with a new fresh request. Clear? This one?
Yes.
Fine. Anybody else? Rule context preparation. Fine. Let's move to the dynamic agent selection. So dynamic agent selection is, if I go by a document. By the way, these documents are already in the drive, shared drive. So you can easily access those documents. You can read them. So that will really help as a reference. Okay. So the business scenario. SAP governance, master data governance material provide business process to find, create, change, mark for material, master data for deletion. It support the governance of material master data in the central hub. MDG uses the rule-based workflow. The user agent decision table determines the agents. So it will determine the agents. The scenario address the customer requirement to have more flexible user determination dependent on the own coding. So the body used add customer specific coding and tables. You can use this body to implement dynamic agent selection in the rule-based workflow. Let me tell you the moral of the story instead of reading all these things. Let's say you want that if the material type is AEM, which is obviously sample material, then the request should go to Mr. A. And if material type is other than AEM, the sample material, then it will go to Mr. B. So if this is the case, now let me tell you, the moment you hear this, you can straight away say, hey, I can make this easily through the ABAP coding. Yes, you can do that. So that's what the interesting part is in SAP, you can do lot many things in a different way. Okay, but the intention is here to to show you what are the SAP provided features we have in MDG as a part of validation and derivation body. Okay, so this is a kind of, if you have a such kind of scenario, then we have a certain item which is available under the validations and derivation body, which is called dynamic agent selection. So here, based on a certain condition, your agent will be picked. Agent means what? Agent means your data steward, your approvers, basically, your verifiers. Okay, so they are nothing but your data steward. So they are the agents. So based on a certain material type or material group or industry sector or some other attribute, the agents will be picked accordingly. Okay. So that's the whole idea to have it. Now, in order to do that, what I did, so the first thing which I did, that is, I went to process model, change request type, and the change request type which I have created, that is ymat_d, and it is exactly the copy of mat01, same as what I did for ymat01. Okay, this is exactly the copy of mat01, right? Once this is done, then so this is customizing request, the same request. I went to workflow, rule-based workflow, and define the steps. And these are all steps. Okay, so this is processing, this is verify, this is activation, this is rollback, this is revision. So already I have the rollback, so I don't need that. 94. Okay, it's a repetition, so I don't need that. Similarly, revision, I don't need that. Okay. Anyway, so this is the whatever the requirement we have. Based on that, I just maintain that, and whatever the repetitions we have, we can remove those repetitions uh, from the steps. Okay. Now, then go to configure rule-based workflow. ymat01_d. Single value decision table. What happened? First 00, that means the change request submit. As soon as it submit, it goes to verifier. Okay. This workflow is little different. In fact, little simple. The verifier having two scenarios. One is approve, another one is reject, which we call activate and send for revision. So if it is activate, then it is go for activation. That means in this scenario, I have just two stages, that is requester and verifier, no approval. So activation, and the rejection is nothing but go for the revision. The next is activation. Same story, activation having two phases, activation successful and activation unsuccessful. And if it is successful, then complete. If it is not successful, then go to the verifier. Then the revision. Before I come back to the rollback, then the first is revision, because when verifier reject, it went for the revision. So revision again having two scenarios. One is resubmit and withdraw. If it is resubmit, then again it will go for the verifier, the same cycle will continue. And if it is withdraw, then rollback. And if it is rollback, finally the rollback complete the process, and obviously final check rejected. More or less same story, just instead of 3 levels, I have here the 2 levels. The only thing which is additional here, that is dynamic agent selection service. So now the question is, previously I have used the service name here, but now I'm using the service name here. Why? Remember, whenever I have the rule context preparation, I have to come here and maintain the service name. But whenever I have the dynamic agent selection, that time I have to be use the column dynamic agent selection service, which is a standard column provided by SAP. Okay. Now, where exactly I need to place this? Service, this is the filter name, or rather this is the service name. So where I need to place them? First of all, I need to understand where the identification of the agent will happen the moment it will submit. That means at the verifier level, the moment it submit the change request, that moment only the identification of the agent will perform. So wherever I can see verifier, so here I can see verifier, here I can see verifier, here I can see verifier. In all these places, the the agent selections will perform. So that's what you can see. This is the place where the agent dynamic agent selection will perform. Okay. So we just define the service name here, and the same service name we need to assign in the MDG level as well. Service name. So here dynamic agent. Okay. Now this is the part which we just define in MDG framework, and also assign the same uh, in the BRF plus, or rather the rule based workflow. Okay. Now the next is the above body section. The above body section, when you go to above body, sorry, you can go to SC18 again. Again, the same enhancement spot. Now this is for the dynamic agents. Now I haven't created anything yet. So let me create, right click, create body implementation. Now enhancement, dynamic agent. Save it in local object, continue. Now implementing class. Similarly, this document can help to identify the implementing class. So this is the implementing class. CL MDG BS Math Select Agent. CL MDG BS Math Agent. Continue. Copy the sample class. Wait a minute. What we can do, we can copy this class. Okay, it does not exist. CL MDG BS Math Select Agent. Sorry, CL MDG BS Math. Sorry. Select agent. Yes. We can copy this. Okay. Then use the same shape. Okay. So this is the implementing class, which is having method read material and the dynamic agent selection method. So the read material, the same story, what I just explained before, same sort of a logic which it has, and the dynamic agent. Okay. But before that, we need to maintain the filter value, which we just maintain in the MDG level and also in the BRF plus level. This is the one, ZEM dynamic agent, because this is the point where it connects the BRF plus and the above body. Implementing class. Implementing class. Now click here. Now we can update this. So this is the same code which we have. So I just replace this code with this. Fine. Now I will explain. Let me syntax check. This is above dictionary table. We need to define this table. So let's define this table as well. So this table having two entries, material group end and the agent value. Okay. This is one. C11. Create. Application. Is a mandatory entry and MTKL. Is also MTKL. Okay. Then next agent Okay, save. Master data, size category, let's say this months. Okay, so this is the table, and this table should have some entry. So we can create some entry. So let's say 001. Material group. Agent is, let's say, SAP user. Similarly, user. Let's see another material group. It's 101. 101. 001. The data record will specifically already exist. I think we may be required a table maintenance to maintain the record, as it is only accepting one record anyway. Just for a understanding purpose. So let's say whatever the record I have, like here you can see I have two records or three records, whatever. Okay. So now back to the coding part. So this is the structure which is having the MATKL user structure, which is having the material group and the agent details. And this structure you can see it is a now this is the internal table, which is a standard table of this structure, and this is the work area, and then followed by some agent group, user agent, which is having some standard types. Okay. And this is the PP material, which is part of LS material as a local variable. Then the first thing which is happening, that is we are calling the service name. Okay, we are calling the service name. This is the service name which is calling at this level. Okay. When we are calling this, we are first calling the method read material. So first we are reading the material. So based on the change request number we pass, we get the material number. Then we have the select query based on this table which I created. What is the purpose of that particular table? Now, whatever the material group details we capture in the internal table, that details we need to match whether it is already present in this table which we created here. If that is match, that means in the change request, whatever the material group we are entering, if that data is matched with this table record, then associate with this material group, whoever the agent is available, that agent will be picked. Okay. So if that is the case, then it will be picked accordingly. Agent group 1, step type 5, and will be picked up the agent which is associated to that particular table. That means the table which we have assigned here. ZMATKL user. Okay. So that's the use of this whole purpose, this dynamic agent. So the idea is whatever the change request we are entering based on a specific value, it could be material group, it could be material type, or it could be anything. Based on that particular value, we will have one custom table, and that custom table we have the list of agents. It will match with that table and then pick the right agent. So this is nothing but the dynamic agent selection. Okay, and this is the entire code which is tested. So any question related to the dynamic agents? It is quite straightforward.
Aditya, can you please go to the rule-based workflow screen?
Rule-based workflow. Okay. You mean the BRF plus and or the above body?
Not the baddie, the where you gave the
The
change
BRF.
request type, and yeah.
Yes, I think
In
this one.
this, yes, like the other change request type, right? The one you were working on, YMAT01D.
That is for the YMAT01D is for dynamic agent.
Correct.
This is the one.
Correct. So over here, Aditya, the question I have is the user agent determination. Is it blank over here, or because you are doing the agent determination
No,
dynamically?
no. Sorry. No, it's not blank. So I missed out to talk about this. Yes, this is just as usual. Like we have the condition alias for the revision stage, then the super user or special user for the revision. Okay. Similarly, for the non-user agent decision table, so these are the activities for activation, completion, and rollback. So that's continuing as usual.
Only for the activation, you left it out in the user agent decision table here because that was dynamic.
This is for the single value decision table. We just maintain the dynamic agent selection service details respect to the verifier point. I mean, why verifier? For you, it could be different name. Ultimately, it is the point immediately after the submission where it comes that in that point we need to define that service name, because that is the decisive point where at that point we will take the decision. It based on the change request details, which agent should pick this, or which agent should receive that particular change request. So that's the thing. So no further activities required for non-user agent and user agent area. Only in the single value decision table area, you need to define this dynamic agents. Okay.
So for the verifier, Aditya, if you had some entry in the user agent determination, even though there is a dynamic agent selection, will that be ignored?
Sorry, come again.
So in this context, you have dynamic agent selection for a
Mhm.
verifier, right? So you have implemented the baddie, you have
But
specified over
that's the
here.
thing. That's the thing. You can see in the user agent decision table, I did not define anything for the approval scenario.
Correct,
We have only the revision scenario.
correct. But
So
in the
approval scenario will be only picked up from the table.
correct. So the question
From
I
the
have,
table. Yeah.
yeah, the question I have, Aditya, is in this. If you go back to that user decision, um, by mistake, if I have for approval for that verifier, if I have entries over here, will that
Mhm.
be ignored because you have done the dynamic agent selection?
I think that will give a dump
Okay,
because system will unable to understand which one will proceed.
got it.
Whether
So it has to be one or the other.
the one which you, right, right. So whether it has to be the user agent one or the logic you have built. So in that case, definitely you need not to define anything under the user agent decision. At least the approval case scenarios. Rejection, yes, you should have the rejection one, but not the approval because approval will totally controlled by the table entries.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the two things which I've done today. I would like to say that please try to collect. If you want, you can collect the raw code directly copied from the enhancement which I have shown here. Uh, and the documents are already available in the shared drive. So you need not to ask for the document anybody. So already it is there. So the next session, we will continue with the email notification and the parallel processing, which will complete the service body part. Okay, fine then. And next session, once we complete the service body, we will quickly go through the again the interview questions based on categorically the workflow related chapter, because this is a very important chapter uh, in terms of the project delivery, in terms of interview perspective, uh, in terms of customer dealing as well, because everything is related to the business flow, and business flow means workflow and validations and derivation. So we will talk about the interview questions, or that will also help in terms of discussing with customer if you are already part of MDG project. So that will really help you. So what are those points you need to take care? What are those points you need to keep in mind when you are dealing with the workflow and validations and derivations? Okay, fine. So what I will do, because today I could not able to execute the scenario because all configuration is done. Just I need to run the scenario. Okay, because somebody messed up this the framework. So that's what I'm unable to do that. So next week my priority will be first, before I start with the email notification and parallel processing, we'll just execute the scenario quickly and then we'll continue with the email notification and the parallel processing. Okay, so that's the whole idea. Okay, so far today this much. So we'll continue next week. Thanks a lot for joining this meeting, and have a rest of the day. Thanks.
Thanks, Aditya.